going on, y'all? Had to redo this video, but here we go. So, Monday Night Raw review. They started off with the Bianca Belair versus the returning gimmick of Nikki. Now she is basically confirmed that she's no longer Nikki ASH, almost a superhero. She is back to being Nikki Cross, the crazed fringe lunatic woman, and that's what that they started off with Bianca and her, and they had, I want to say awesome banger, or as Samuels like to say, banger after banger after banger, but it was a good way to start off Monday Night Raw. This show was mostly built around being the go-home show for Crown Jewel, so not too much exciting happened on here, but it was enough to say this wasn't a bad show. The match itself though was pretty good. It had some good spots. As you would expect, Damage Control made their presence known and did some little interference, but in the end, one of the highlights was the fact that Nikki Cross, she attacked everyone. She didn't care that Bayley and them were trying to help her. She attacked them too. So I'm like, yeah, she's really unhinged Nikki Cross again. And she basically attacked everyone, but even with the distractions, Bianca Belair was able to pull out the victory. But Damage Control would jump her after the match, which brought out the return of Asuka and Alexa Bliss. I think later on in the backstage segment, they helped Finn Damage Control off. But then later in the backstage promo, they said they wanted a championship match against Dakota Kai and Io Sky later on that night, which will actually get made and will be our main event. Another thing I would like to point out about this episode had two booking decisions that was so left field that I didn't see coming. Like, I honestly did not see them doing that, to the point where I was like, did they really just do that? Why did they do that? But I say that because one of the upcoming matches was the first one. But the next thing that happened is the Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar was supposed to be a face-to-face, but then it turned to be like it's supposed to be like a Corey Graves interview them backstage in separate rooms, but only Bobby was in his chair. So Corey Graves basically asked Bobby some questions about Brock Lesnar. He basically said that at Crown Jewel he's going to expose Brock Lesnar, and that Brock Lesnar been ducking him for so many years, and that he's going to expose him for who he truly is. Obviously, like I said, with Brock Lesnar not being there, Corey Graves couldn't ask Brock for the retort and anything. That was because Brock music hits and he comes straight to the ring. And Brock runs down Bobby Lashley and basically, goads him or challenges him to come out there now so they can fight. Because he said the time for talk was done. But in the middle of this, Bobby Lashley had gotten up, because it was like Corey Graves kept asking Bobby, like when Brock Lesnar music hit and he was making his way to the ring, did Bobby know what was going on? Can he hear it? And Bobby's reaction was like he couldn't, but it basically after Brock Lesnar music ended and he was goading him into coming out there, it was pretty much, I guess he did hear it all, because he could hear Brock in the ring, and he basically got up in the middle of Brock's goading, and like I said before, and he took off his jacket and everything. His music hit, he comes straight to the ring, and they get to fighting and brawling. Where Triple H basically empties the locker room to to separate Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. I actually like this one better than the other one, because both of them were standing tall, where the other one, Bobby Lashley, basically beat down Brock Lesnar. But I understood why they did that, because the week before Brock beat down Brock Lesnar. Then so this was his get back and him beating him down. So they had this brawl was a steady. No one gets beat down. Everyone looks tall. Everyone stands tall. We move on to the second match of the night, which is the first of two booking decisions that was weird to me, which was Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins. Now, they said this match came about because I guess Austin or Seth made some remarks about Austin Theory, and Austin Theory didn't like it, so basically this match got booked for this week. The one thing I noticed too when Seth made his entrance, he's got back like the blonde part in his hair, but it's not where back then it was more so it was like only in a part of his hair. It looked like it's more. I think it's back to being. Remember how it was like half his head, then only a part of it, and then he just fully got rid of it. It's back to being the whole half of his head again. What I was gonna say, I just wanted to point that out because it was like, oh, okay, a little change in his hairstyle. But the match itself was good. Austin Theory, it was still a weird booking because they was both heels, but Seth was more so. If you had to say, LilBigMan, pick one who you think was the baby face and who was the heel, even though both of them was heels. I would have to say Seth Rollins was treated more so as the baby face of this situation because of how over he is with the crowd right now, and the fact that basically the crowd always sings his song no matter where. It seems like for the most part right now, no matter where he goes, they sing his song. So yeah, I have to give that to Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins would end up winning the match. I don't know if there was interference. I can't remember if there was interference or not. But yeah, we get on to the Roman Reigns promo where Roman basically came out to cut a promo on Logan Paul, but he realized that he basically told the crowd that I love that the crowd chanted Usi to him. But yeah, Roman basically ran down Logan Paul saying that he wasn't work. Usually they like to build up both himself and his opponent, but because Logan Paul only had 2 matches, he basically said that he wasn't gonna do that. Instead, they just built him up, and as he was basically talking about using Paul Heyman himself to talk about how they was gonna dominate Logan Paul, the Miz would come out. And the Miz would basically try to offer his services to Roman Reigns by trying to strike up a deal, a la you scratch my back, I scratch yours. He was telling Roman that that right hook that everybody's talking about is true because of the metal pins he got in his hands. They make his right hook even more powerful and deadly because when it hits you, he says it's gonna knock you out. This, even though Miz kind of there and acknowledged him as the tribal chief and all that, it ticked Roman off because he's like he said, as he told Miz, why is everybody talking about me getting knocked out by Logan Paul, but which everybody should be talking about, and then he Superman punches the Miz, and he said me knocking Logan Paul out. And basically, he leaves the ring, walk up the ring, screaming that this is his yard and his house. He's done being merciful and everything like that. We get to the next match, which is Damian Priest versus Carl Anderson, and this was another good match between the Judgment Day member and the OC, where basically Carl Anderson got the victory here. Even though it was shenanigans and interference on both sides, I figured when if it's not Finn Balor, then it's like most likely the Judgment Day is not winning. They only win when it's Finn Balor because they pushing Finn Balor as one of the top heels. So I kind of when they said it was Damian Priest, I was like, okay, they're gonna give OC the victory here, and that's what they did. They gave Carl Anderson the victory, though it was short lived, as Judgment Day would basically beat down the OC and leave him in the heat in the ring. JBL will come out and cut a promo, talking up the Texas crowd and talking about all their accomplishments and everything, how great Texas is, or in his words was, as he said, Texas was great until this generation made Texas weak, and that he said, but Baron Corbin, the modern day wrestling god, is going to basically change that. And out comes Baron Corbin, who also talks about how great he is and how the fact that he is the modern day wrestling god. But they said the word truth, and R-Truth came out and basically picked on it since it was Halloween, saying that he liked their costumes, and they tried to tell him that we're not in costumes, you idiot. But he said, yes, you are. JBL is dressed as an old grumpy old man, cowboy old man, and he was about to say Baron Corbin was dressed as a jack. But Baron Corbin didn't like it, and him and R-Truth started fighting. But R-Truth would get the better of Baron Corbin for a moment until JBL's interference, allowing Baron Corbin to beat down and leave R-Truth in the ring. With that being said, we get to the next match, which is the traditional on every Halloween episode, the trick or street fight match, and between Matt Riddle and Otis. And along with Elias and basically Chad Gable at ringside, with Matt Riddle dressed as Ezekiel, and I guess Otis and Chad Gable was supposed to be Patrick Swayze. That was kind of funny, but the match itself, it was good. They didn't really get too extreme. I mean, stuff the only thing I had a problem with was there wasn't enough weapons involved, but it still was entertaining nonetheless. And Matt Riddle would get the victory here. I had to say this because I just remember what comes next. I forgot to say that it went to, when that Roman Reigns promo ended, after Superman punched the Miz and everything. When it came back, it was a Miz promo where he was basically backstage being attended to, saying that he got a broken jaw, that he was trying to get his match with Mustafa Ali canceled. Until Mustafa Ali basically came back there and goaded him, but talking about his small man package, and basically the match itself got underway. But yeah, he goaded in the Miz into taking the match and not calling off. To which we get to that match, which is Miz versus Mustafa Ali, which was a good match. This match also had interference, but this time by the way of Dexter Lumis, and also doing that promo too. They talked about the tell-all that Johnny Gargano did. But yeah, Mustafa Ali, thanks to the interference from basically Dexter Lumis, he got the victory over the Miz. Johnny Gargano promo came out next where he did the tell-all exposing what basically the truth is between the Miz and Dexter Lumis. Now, I like the fact that during the reenactment scenes, it was basically just Johnny Gargano basically playing both Dexter Lumis and the Miz. And you could tell too that they tried to blur their face and make it look like it was really the Miz, but it was really just Johnny Gargano. And you could tell it was Johnny Gargano. But it was funny. But basically, he revealed that when Dexter Lumis lost his job due to the budget cuts, he was devastated. It devastated his marriage with Indy Hartwell. And the Miz took advantage of it and paid him to basically stage attacks on him. But when the Miz stopped paying, the attacks became real, and that's the truth. The main event, which is the second of strange booking choices, was, as I said before, Asuka and Alexa Bliss versus Damage Control of Dakota Kai and Io Sky for the women's, I always get ready to say SmackDown, but the women's tag team championship, which was a good main event, a great way to end the show. But the booking choice was here is that it was with all the interference and with Bayley and Bianca basically taking themselves out, and Dakota Kai ended up being left to the mercy of Alexa Bliss, and then without interference and distraction, Alexa Bliss and then was able to pull out the victory here Not via count out or disqualification. They pinned. I think Io Sky got pinned by Alexa Bliss, and they are now the new women's tag team champion, and also the rematch is going to take place at Crown Jewel. So it's going to be 2 women matches at Crown Jewel. It was just a weird booking choice. I didn't think Dakota Kai and Io Sky was losing anytime soon. Honestly, I think they was going to add more championship gold by having Bayley beat Bianca, but who knows? But the show itself was good. It was a decent show. I would give it a 7 out of 10 Big Us just because it was entertaining. It did its job as a go home show for the most part. I mean, there was some here and there stuff that was forgettable. I know I'm forgetting something. But other than that, it was a good show. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed this review, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this review so much and want to support the channel, you know what to do, guys. Hit those buttons. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content or video. And don't go anywhere because I got more coming your way. Peace.